Hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Lauren James. I will be walking you through a abs and toning fitness class like I teach at McFetridge. That class is typically an hour. We will just be moving through about 30 to 40 minutes, cutting it a little short. The only thing that you'll need is some space and some wall space. I'm going to be using this space. We don't need a lot, really just about the width of your body, but you'll need a small space nearby to do that on a wall. So we can get started. So let's start marching. Okay, so for this abs and toning class, just like my classes at McFetridge, we will take the first few minutes to warm up. Just a few moments here to get everything moving, get all the joints moving, blood pumping, your heart rate will get elevated, maybe your breath will be a little labored. That's okay, that's all good. The first 5 or so minutes, I want all of those things to happen. I want you to feel like you're working hard a little. And then once we get into the actual abs and toning portion, we'll be doing every exercise for about a minute. I've got a timer set on my watch. You should be able to hear it beep, but I will still count it down just in case. And let's see, we'll do every exercise for about a minute. We'll do a few exercises standing, and then we'll mostly come down to the mat. It's a lot of mat stuff today. Okay. So here, stand up tall, pump your arms. We need to get everything moving, get everything warmed up. If we go right into strength training, it's just too much of a stress on cold muscles. So we need to get them warmed up, and then we can start to put some healthy stress on them. Okay, so stand up tall, really lengthen up through the crown of your head. All right, so I'm gonna move over to one side. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take lateral steps sideways. So I will mirror you. So come all the way over to the left, and we're just gonna take 2 steps to the right. So to the right, right, and then left, left, right, right, left, left. We're gonna keep this up. Okay, so you're taking side steps, but all 10 toes continue to point forward. Make sure you're not turning your toes out. Toes are forward. We wanna open through the inside and the outsides of the thighs, and if we turn the feet out, we're not doing that. So feet continue to look like the number 11 as you do this action, okay? And then the elbows stay up high at about the height of your shoulders. Don't let them drop down. That shows me your arms are not working. Let's do one more. And now from here, V-step, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, forward, forward, back, back, forward, forward, back, back. So this is often called a V-step. It's almost like you are tracing the letter V with where you're stepping. You're stepping wide in the front, narrow in the back. Let's do 4 more, 3 more, 2 more. Last one, we're gonna go back to those side steps. So go right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left. And we'll stay here a little longer. So again, keep the arms up. Really draw the arms out wide. So having them hang down low shows me they're not working. Also making the movement very small. So I want a large movement. Really draw your arms back. Work through your upper back. Let's do 1 more. And then once we're there, V-step with the left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. So coming forward and back. And again, when you step forward, you're taking a wide stance. When you step back, you're taking a narrow stance. Again, sort of like you're tracing the letter V. All right, let's do 4 more. 3 more. 2. Last one, we're gonna come to squats. So lower, lift, lower, lift. Okay, we're gonna do several leg exercises in today's sequence, and all of which you need to be consciously squeezing your glutes. You need to be actively thinking about contracting your glute muscles. You need to be putting forth the effort because they won't work otherwise. Let's do 4 more just like this. 3 more. 2 more. Last one, we're gonna add a jump. So you're gonna squat and jump, squat and jump. Now you're welcome to leave out the jump, but here what I want you to do is to get your heart rate up. So that might mean might look like a fast march. It might have these jumps, and you might move at a faster pace. You might move at a slower pace. But I want us to keep this up for maybe about 20 more seconds. So getting your heart rate up, really reaching the arms up overhead. Arms up overhead is always gonna make whatever you're doing harder. So that's an option. So again, I want your heart rate coming up, your breath might start to be labored. You're going to start to sweat. Feeling that work. Let's do 4 more. Keep breathing. 3 more. Almost there. Stay with it for 2. Last 1. And then come back to that march. Okay, so stand up tall. Take deep breaths. Let your shoulders relax. And let's actually open through the chest and shoulders. So open your arms out in opposite directions. Cross right over left, left over right. And really let the arms come all the way back. Like you're trying to get your hands to touch behind your body. Keep standing up tall and taking deep breaths. Let's stay for about 3 more deep breaths. 2 more. 1 more, keep moving your feet. All right. Okay, so we are gonna start. So I'm not gonna be playing music. I suggest you try to find some music you wanna listen to. It gets kind of boring just listening to the sound of my voice. All right, so we're gonna start with some single leg deadlifts. So you're gonna feel the work in your glutes as long as you contract them, and your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs. So you might wanna be by the wall. You're welcome to do that. We're gonna be balancing, so your call. We're gonna start with hands at the hips. Look at a spot on the floor, something that won't move. Shift your weight into your right foot, pick up the left, and very slowly start to tip forward, leaning your torso towards the floor, allowing the left leg to lift. It's like a warrior 3, but now we're gonna lift and release out of it. Come back upright. Try not to let the left foot touch the ground. Come all the way back down. So you're tipping forward. So your side profile looks like a capital T. And then you slowly return upright. Left foot never touches the ground. You're going to keep tipping forward and slowly lifting and returning back upright. So you should feel the work in the back of your right thigh and in your right glute. But again, you've got to consciously, actively, thoughtfully squeeze through that space. The back of the right leg should feel that work even without the squeeze. Okay, so keep your eyes on a fixed spot because certainly this is a balance pose. So keep your eyes on one fixed spot. Make sure the weight of your body is back in your right heel. You can wiggle your right toes. You've only got 8 more seconds here, and then we will switch sides. So keeping the chest tall, long. You've got 3, 2, 1. All right, we'll switch sides. So same thing, you're welcome to be by the wall. Start with your weight in your left foot, especially in the heel. Lift up the right leg and slowly tip forward. From the right heel to the crown of your head, you're a straight line. You look at the letter T, your warrior 3, and then you return back upright, never letting the right foot touch the ground. So slowly lowering, dropping the chest, lifting the right leg, and then returning back upright. So ideally, both legs would be really straight. If they each have a little bit of a bend in the knees, that's all right. Again, we want to work through the left leg. Feel the work in the back of the left thigh and the hamstrings, and then squeeze and consciously activate your left glutes so that the backside is really taking on this movement. You just let your arms come wherever is comfortable. I like hands at the hips. They can be alongside the body, maybe clasped in front of you, in front of your belly. Whatever you need, but keep your eyes on a fixed spot. You've only got 12 more seconds here. So keep taking deep breaths. Keep squeezing and contracting the left glutes. The whole backside of the left leg should be feeling this work in this single leg deadlift. 3, 2, 1. All right, so that works the back. Now we're gonna work the front. Here's where we're gonna come to the wall. We're gonna take a wall sit. So you're gonna position yourself as if you're sitting in an invisible chair. So sitting really low. Now the hope, I know you can't see yourself or even me from the side, but the hope is that your knees make a right angle. So what that means for most of us is we're usually sitting up too high and our quads aren't really that active up here. So we've got to slide it down so that your knees and your hips are in the same plane. Your thighs are parallel to the floor. So they're parallel, like they make an equal sign. I always like to think, if I were to place a rolling pin on your thighs, would it roll off? The hope is no, that it would stay right here, that your thighs are level with the floor. We're well beyond halfway, so keep pushing the heels into the floor. You should be able to wiggle your toes. lift through the spine, relax the shoulders. Legs are working hard, quads. These are your quads, they are on fire probably. But we want to relax everywhere else. Just because quads are so engaged doesn't mean we need to be tight up here. So can you relax? 3, 2, 1. All right. So now we're going to come to a wall version of push-ups. If wall push-ups are too easy, the next exercise we're going to be on the mat. So you could just be doing push-ups on the mat or on a couch or a chair or an ottoman. The higher up your upper body is, the easier they are. So this is the easiest version. We're already standing, we're already by the wall, so let's do it. Or find something lower. The lower your hands are, the harder it is. But if you're at the wall, walk your feet back quite a bit. So I've stepped back to at least the width of my mat. Hands on the wall, lean forward, let the elbows splay out and push up. So I like to push back so that just my fingertips are on the wall. So I know I'm really pushing into the wall to come back. I'm also up on my ball mounts of my feet and my toes. So allowing less of your feet to be on the floor will be a little more challenging, or even walking back even more. But coming into some version of push-ups, again, it might be on a couch, on the chair, on an ottoman, whatever you need. You've just got 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're gonna sprinkle some cardio in today's class. So here's one of them. So we're gonna start standing. It's sort of like a burpee. It's like a modified burpee. We're just gonna stand upright, squat down really like you're sitting in an invisible chair. Hands come down, step back, back, forward, forward, push the heels into the floor, come up to a standing. And then push the heels down, sit back in an invisible chair, step back, back, forward, forward, come up. And think about switching whatever leg is leading that movement. If you're always leading with the right, think about leading with the left. Now, maybe you need a little bit more, and you jump back, jump forward, stand up. Jump back, jump forward, stand up. But I want you to think about getting your heart rate up, whether that means stepping or jumping. You know your body best. I want you to feel like you are working hard, but you are safe. You are in control of the movement. You've only got 12 more seconds, and then we're really gonna come down to the mat. We're only doing 3 cardio exercises. This is the first one. So 1 down, 2 to go. Okay, so now we are gonna come onto our hands and knees in tabletop. So we're gonna start with the knees under the hips, and we're gonna bring the forearms down. So elbows are under shoulders. Palms are down, fingers are spread wide. Push the palms into the floor, lift the elbows off the ground, let them just hover. So if they lift up high, you're bypassing the work. Let the elbows just hover over the ground. Feel the triceps, the backs of the arms working hard. Shout out to Jean, this is her exercise. And then lower down. So push the palms down, lift the elbows, lift the forearms, they should hover. Feel the work in your triceps. Now check in with your spine. Are you rounding in your spine? Is your lower back vulnerable? Tuck your tailbone, can protect the lower back. Okay, drop the arms. We're gonna keep going. So push the forearms down, push the hands down to lift the forearms. Now check in with your spine. Draw your ribs up and in, tuck your tailbone, lengthen your spine, spread the fingers, push the hands down. Really, again, just let the elbows hover. The higher they lift, really, the easier this exercise becomes. You got 3, 2, 1. Whew. All right, so now we're gonna bring the hands under the shoulders. We're gonna come to a rhomboid exercise. So we don't do this very often, so you might wanna watch first or whatever you need to do. You can always rewind the tape, but hands under shoulders, spread the fingers wide. Arms will stay straight. Arms do not move here. What you allow to happen is you let your heart to fall towards the floor, like you're shrugging your shoulders. The space between your shoulder blades is a valley. It dips down. Squeeze it in, create a really deep valley, and then push the hands down, lift the chest, create a dome behind the shoulder blades. Now, create the valley, squeeze it in, push the hands down, create a dome. Create a valley, squeeze, make it a deep, low valley, and then lift up. So lowering and lifting just in your chest. Arms stay still. The elbows do not move. The arms really do not move very much at all. The movement is in your chest, it's in your torso. You should feel your upper back working. If you're familiar with a row of any type, you want to feel that same sort of work happening. 3, 2, 1. Okay, here's another movement we don't do very often. We're going to come up to kneeling. If you want to put a kink in your mat to protect your knees, you're welcome to, because we're going to be up on our knees throughout the exercise. Hands can be wherever, feet flat, tops of the feet flat on the ground, excuse me. You're going to lower, hover, hips hover over heels, lift and squeeze. Lower, let the hips hover over heels, lift and squeeze. So it's like a squat, but we're in a kneeling position. So your muscles are being recruited in a different way. So it's gonna feel different from the wall sit. It's gonna feel different from a traditional squat. Okay, now you're pushing the tops of your feet into the floor, toenails into the ground where your shoelaces would normally go, into the floor, not just the knees. Okay, so when you lift up, you should feel your quads working, and you've gotta actively squeeze and pinch your glutes. So make sure you are really recruiting those glute muscles. Your glutes are one of your strongest and largest muscles in your body, so make them work. They have the strength and the capacity to do the work. You've just got to make them want to do it, because they don't want to do it very often. 3, 2, 1. All right, another cardio. So 2 of 3 here. So we're gonna come to mountain climbers. Now, they can be slow if you need them to be slow, or pick up the pace. It's your call, it's your workout. What are you looking to accomplish? So from a plank position, option 1, stay here. Option 2, draw right knee to right elbow, slowly place it back. Left knee to left elbow, slowly place it back. Now you can stay slow, stay controlled, work your core. Stay really focused in slow, controlled movements. You'll do more strength training, or you've only got 30 seconds, maybe you pick up the pace and you really kick your knees towards your elbow like you're scaling a mountain, really kicking those feet up, keeping the feet off the ground, just tapping at the back of the mat, again, or slow. That is your call. But I want you to keep moving. You've only got 12 more seconds. So can you pick up this pace? Can you keep your hips where they're at instead of hiking up? Spread the fingers, push the hands down. 3, 2, 1. All right, land to one side, just so you're facing me still as best you can. Okay, land to one side. Let your ear rest on your arm. Try to make your body a straight line. Allow the top leg to bend at the knee, foot flat on the ground in front of the opposite thigh. Bottom leg is gonna lift and lower, lift and lower. Catch your breath. If your heart rate is still elevated and your breath is labored, take deep breaths in through your nose, out through either the nose or the mouth, probably the mouth. In through the nose though. All right, so we wanna try to keep the hips level. Make sure that the top hip isn't rolling forward or back. We want to focus on the bottom leg, that inner thigh. Try not to let that foot touch the ground. Keep the foot softly flexed. So push your heel away from you towards the wall that has been behind you for most of the practice. And then relaxing through your shoulders. Just because your leg is working hard doesn't mean you need to be clenching and gripping and tightening on the upper body. 3, 2, 1, we're gonna come onto our stomach. All right, so on our stomach, we're gonna reach the arms behind us. You're gonna look down at your mat. So you're looking down at your mat or the top edge of your mat, but not forward. You should not be able to see the screen, assuming that it's on a table or something like that. All right, so you're gonna lift your upper body, lift your head, neck, chest and shoulders, arms and hands. Lift up off the ground. Now you're lifting your chest, broadening through your collarbone. Reach the crown of your head forward, up and away. So there's no wrinkles in the back of your neck. You're looking down at your mat. I want you to feel this in your torso, not your neck. Now you might interlace your fingers behind you and really reach your knuckles back. You might even lift your feet and your legs off the ground, not just bending at the knees and lifting the shins, but can you lift the tops of your thighs up and away from the ground?
So you've only got 15 more seconds here. Can you push the hips down a little more? Lift the chest up a little higher. Broaden through the collarbones. Push the heart forward. Spread through the heart, the chest, the shoulders. 3, 2, 1. All right, inner thigh on the other side. I'm gonna turn around so I'm still facing you, but I suppose you could have your back to me. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter to me, I can't tell. Okay, but have your body long. You're resting your ear on the arm. The top leg is gonna come forward, knee bent, foot flat. Bottom leg, have it softly flexed and lift and lower, lift and lower. Okay, so we're keeping that bottom leg long. We want to hopefully feel this through the inner thigh, through your hip adductors, the thigh muscles that run along the inner part of the thigh. So we want to keep the hips level, make sure the front hip doesn't tip forward or back. Think about pushing that front heel into the mat a little bit. And then can you relax your shoulders? Can you relax your neck muscles? Just let your ear really fall heavy on the arm and focus on working through that inner thigh for just 15 more seconds. And then we're gonna do our last cardio exercise. It's the last one, and then we'll do some abs. We really haven't gotten to abs yet. We will get there, I promise. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're gonna come back into a plank position. Option 1, just stay in the plank, that's fine. Or take a variation of a plank. You could be on your knees, you could be on your toes, hands, elbows. You could stay still, whatever you need. But if you're looking for more cardio, get your heart rate up, really burn the fat, the calories, shedding pounds. Not that you need to, but if you want to, you're gonna come into a plank. You're gonna kick one leg out and then the other out. Right, left, right, left. Now these are like plank jacks. So think plank in the upper body, half jacks in the legs. And you can stay with these half jacks or full jacks. Out, in, out, in, out, in. Now you could do this on your elbows. You could do it on your hands. You could stay still if you need to. Oh, I paused the timer. We don't want that. Okay, it's moving. So you could do one foot at a time. That's more than acceptable. Or both together. Go forward. Okay, so we're gonna keep the legs long. Keep the hips low. This is not a down dog plank jack. We keep the hips low in line with the rest of the body. Push the hands down. Spread the fingers wide. I'm gonna check the time. We've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew, those are hard. All right, come onto your back. We've got just 4 ab exercises here and we're done. All right. So, you're gonna bring your arms alongside your body. Knees bent, feet flat. Let your ribs lift, so you could slide your hands under your ribs, but then push your ribs down. So, arms are not actually underneath, but I want you to push your ribs and your lower back down into the floor. Feel the abs work. Okay, now keep the left leg where it's at. Right leg, let it lift. Keeping the right knee bent like you're resting your right heel on a coffee table. Push your ribs down and then let the right foot lower. Keep pushing the ribs down, spine down, lift the left foot, bend the knee, heels like it's on a coffee table. Slowly lower it down. So lift right leg up, keep the ribs pushing down, slowly let it lower. Left leg lift, let the heel rest on an invisible coffee table, let it lower. Now, as you lift one foot, are you pushing the other foot into the ground? So as the left foot lifts up, are you pushing the right foot down? Don't do that. The work should come from your core, it should come from your abs. So as you lift and lower, you're not pushing your feet down, you're not pushing your arms down. The rest of the limbs are soft and gentle. You are pushing your ribs down into the floor, belly button into the spine, spine against the mat, lifting and lowering, working through your core. We're gonna come back to this later. Okay, now that worked through the center, now let's work through the sides. So knees bent, feet flat, arms can come across your chest like the letter X, or hands can come behind your head. You could cradle your head, create a little hammock, whatever you need, but you should not feel this in your throat, neck, and jaw. Inhale, lift up, look at your belly button. Exhale, look over at your hip. Inhale, look at the belly button. Exhale, look at the other hip. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the side. Inhale, center. Exhale, side. We're going to stay just like this. Now move with your breath. We don't want this to be right, left, right, left, right, left. You'll often see people do that, and they are not using their muscles. They are using momentum. They are using inertia. They are using gravity, and they do not get stronger. So you're going to move slow. You're going to move controlled. You are going to get stronger from these movements because they are thoughtful, controlled, mindful movements. You lift up away from the ground and you twist. You've only got 12 more seconds, and we're going to come back to that last action like you're resting your heels on a coffee table. You're going to have an option to make it harder, but stay here. Get into the obliques. Really twist. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now we're going to revisit that last one. You can do just what we were doing, keeping one foot down and lifting one foot up. Next level up is to push the ribs down, really make firm contact with the mat, lift both feet up, push the ribs down, contract your abs, keep the left up high, right leg let it lower, heel taps the ground, lift it up. Left leg let it lower, heel taps the ground, lift it up. Push the ribs down into the floor, spine into the floor. Your ribs should maybe feel like they're shaking. Your abs maybe will feel like they're shaking. That's okay. So shaking is okay. Something that is sharp, shooting, or painful is not okay. Nothing should make you think, ow. Nothing should really be painful. Like you're working hard, yes. Like you're tired, yes. Like you want to give up, yes, that's okay. But nothing sharp, shooting, or painful. You should only feel this in your abs, not your lower back. I felt it for a moment. I started to feel in my lower back. Wouldn't you know, my ribs were up. So push the ribs down. Stay contracting. You've got 6 more seconds. We've got 1 more exercise. 3, 2, 1. Last exercise. Lift the feet up overhead. Shout out to Olivia. This is Olivia's rope climbers. Legs are going to stay up, long, and still. They are not going to sway with you. Lift your upper body, lift up, and reach like you're climbing a rope, reaching for the outside of the opposite ankle. So really reaching, reach like you're reaching for your pinky toe, like you're reaching for that bony little nub on the outside of your ankle. You're going to lift, you're going to twist, you're going to reach, and you are going to strengthen the center abs and the obliques, the side abs. Now, in order to do that, you've got to lift your upper body off the ground, and you're going to keep your legs as still as possible. I know mine probably look like they're shaking and wobbling and waving, but hopefully not. Try to keep the legs as still as you can. If you start to feel this in your head and neck, maybe support your head. That's all right. But I want you to lift. I want you to reach. I want you to twist. Get those abs and side abs working hard. Get the shoulder blades off the ground. This is our last exercise. After this, we stretch. Stay with it for 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Whoo-wee. Reach your fingertips and your toes in opposite directions. Let me just... Okay, fingertips and toes in opposite directions. Take a full body stretch. Now it's okay if your ribs lift up off the ground. If you can sort of create space between your ribs and the mat, that's all right because we're stretching, not working. Take a deep breath. Okay, and then let your ribs relax, let your arms come alongside your body. Knees bent, feet flat. Take a breath. All right, bring your right ankle to the top of your left thigh, figure 4. Softly flex your right foot. You're more than welcome to stay here or bring both hands to the back of your left thigh. Hug your left thigh in. And anytime we're here, you're always welcome to grab the back of the thigh or the shin. This just doesn't feel good in my body, so I don't cue it, but you absolutely could if it makes more sense for you. But I want you to get a comfortable stretch through your right glutes, the space that was working hard in a lot of those movements. So the wall sit and those kneeling squats especially, and even in the warm-up. Now, even though you're stretching your legs, can you relax your arms? Can you take some deep breaths? Feel a comfortable stretch in the right glutes for 2 more breaths. Now keep the legs in this figure 4 position, but just release your hands from your left foot. Let your left foot come down onto the ground. The right ankle is still on the top of the left thigh. Close the gap between your thighs. So cross your right leg all the way over. Thighs are together. There's no more of a space between your thighs. It's like how you would sit if you were sitting in a chair. Let the arms come out in opposite directions, palms face up. Scoot the hips a few inches over to the right. Let the legs fall to the left. So right leg over left, hips scoot to the right, legs fall to the left. It's kind of a lot of back and forth, but you got it. And so crossing the leg is going to add a little bit of a stretch through the right outer thigh and outer hip. If it's uncomfortable, you can uncross the legs because we're still twisting the spine, which is really the purpose of doing this stretch here, to stretch and release any tension through your center, through your core. Stay for 2 deep breaths. And then slowly return the legs back to the center. Uncross the legs, recenter the hips, stay in neutral for a deep breath. Okay, and then bring your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Figure 4, softly flex the left foot, protect the left knee. You can stay here or bring both hands to the back of your right thigh, hug that thigh in. If you interlace your fingers, interlace them the way you don't typically interlace them. Something to think about. Okay, and then getting a comfortable stretch through the left glute, through the left back side. Again, the space that was working several times throughout the workout. A lot of times in those cardio exercises too, the mountain climbers, the plank jacks, the froggers. Take 2 more deep breaths here. And then slowly let that right foot come down, but keep the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. Release the arms out in opposite directions, palms face up. Close the gap between your thighs, so no more space between the thighs. It's like you're sitting in a chair. Scoot your hips over to the left. Let the legs fall to the right. So left leg over right. Scoot the hips to the left. Let the legs fall to the right. And again, you can uncross the legs, uncross at the hips if this is too much. Feel a comfortable stretch, let your body soften and relax and release. Healthy muscles are defined as muscles that know when to contract and they know when to relax. They need the balance. They need both ends of the spectrum, so allow them to take that on. Take 2 more breaths here. And then slowly return the legs to the center, uncross, recenter. Take a deep breath here in neutral. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, hug your knees in towards your chest. You can rock side to side, maybe take a happy baby. Whatever you need to do for just another breath or 2 here. And then the last movement, we always end our classes this way to help massage the spine and bring some mobility into the spine. It's meant to feel like a massage. If it's really intense or feels really intense, I can't think of another word for intense, skip it. It's not worth it. It's meant to be comfortable. Hug your knees into your chest, tuck your chin into your chest, and roll up and down the length of your spine. Like you're gonna come up to a seat, but you change your mind. You rock and roll. This is like rolling like a ball in Pilates. They do it differently, I know that. This is sort of a take on that. Let's do this 1 or 2 more times. Really round through your spine, and then make your way up to a comfortable seat. And you did it, good job, good work. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me again. My name is Lauren, and I teach this class at McFetridge.
Typically it was on Tuesdays and Fridays. When we go back, hopefully it still is, whenever that is. But thank you so much for joining me. Keep taking care of yourself, whether that means working out and sweating hard or taking some time to be really quiet and really soft and really gentle with yourself. Whatever that means, care for yourself, care for one another by staying home, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye.